You are the whisper of a forgotten shore, where the tides have pulled back, leaving shells behind, each a vessel, once a heart, before yours was offered, generous and kind. I see the hollow where it used to beat, a tender space, now open to the air, a silent promise, bittersweet, of love expended, beyond all compare. They say you gave it, willingly, freely, to mend a broken wing, to light a soul, to calm a storm, to banish jealousy, and make another story whole. But what of you, with emptiness embraced? Do you not yearn for warmth, for hand in hand? Do you not feel the hollow, empty space, awaiting love within this barren land? Let me then be the gardener of your soul, to plant new seeds where love has flown before, to nurture blooms that make you whole, and fill the emptiness forevermore. For even a heart that's given all away, can learn to bloom again, in gentle light, and find within a brand new, brighter day, a love that burns, eternally and bright.
To the unavailable, there's a strange and often painful phenomenon in the realm of romance, the allure of the uncaring man. He's the one who doesn't call back right away, seems perpetually nonchalant, and leaves you wondering where you stand. Logically, you know you deserve someone who values you and shows it, but something about his detachment becomes strangely captivating. Why is this? Why do we sometimes find ourselves obsessing over the man who seems least interested? The reasons are complex, often rooted in our individual psychology and past experiences. Understanding these contributing factors can help us break free from chasing the unavailable and find healthier, more fulfilling relationships. The thrill of the chase. For some, the pursuit itself is the draw. The uncaring man presents a challenge, a puzzle to be solved. Cracking his emotional armor becomes a goal, fueled by the belief that winning his affection will be a significant accomplishment. The intermittent reinforcement, occasional crumbs of attention sprinkled amidst long periods of silence, creates a powerful, addictive pattern that keeps you hooked. Think of it like gambling. The occasional win keeps you coming back, despite the overall losses. Echoes of the past. Our childhood experiences can significantly influence our romantic preferences. If we grew up with emotionally unavailable parents or caregivers, we might subconsciously seek out similar dynamics in our adult relationships. Familiarity, even if it's painful, can feel comfortable. We might believe that if we just try harder, we can finally earn the love and attention we craved as children. The illusion of value. Sometimes, we equate difficulty with value. If someone is easily attainable and readily available, we might subconsciously perceive them as less desirable. Conversely, the uncaring man, precisely because he's hard to get, feels more valuable. His affection, when it's finally received, feels like a hard-won prize. Fear of vulnerability. Paradoxically, attraction to the uncaring man can be a defense mechanism against genuine vulnerability. By chasing someone who keeps us at arm's length, we protect ourselves from the potential pain of deep emotional connection and rejection. It's safer to yearn from afar than to risk getting close and being hurt. Low self-esteem. A lack of self-worth can also play a role. When we don't believe we deserve to be loved and cherished, we might gravitate towards relationships that reinforce that negative self-image. The uncaring man, with his dismissive attitude, confirms our insecurities and perpetuates the cycle of low self-esteem. Breaking the cycle. Recognizing the reasons behind your attraction to the uncaring man is the first step towards breaking free. Here are some strategies to consider. Self-reflection. Examine your past relationships and your childhood experiences. Are there recurring patterns of seeking out emotionally unavailable partners? Challenge your beliefs. Question the narrative you've created about love and relationships. Do you believe you're not worthy of love? Are you equating difficulty with value? Focus on yourself. Invest in your own well-being. Build your self-esteem by pursuing your passions, connecting with friends and family, and practicing self-care. Value reciprocity. Seek out relationships where there's a genuine give and take. Look for someone who is genuinely interested in you, makes an effort to connect, and values your feelings. Don't settle. Remember that you deserve to be loved and cherished. Don't settle for breadcrumbs of affection from someone who doesn't truly value you. Chasing the uncaring man is a draining and ultimately unfulfilling pursuit. By understanding the underlying reasons for this attraction and actively working on your self-worth, you can break the cycle and open yourself up to healthier, more loving relationships. Relationships where you are valued, respected, and truly loved for who you are. The key is to recognize that you deserve someone who does care, and to be brave enough to choose that for yourself. The invisible wounds. How dysfunctional homes shape our emotional landscape. We all carry the imprint of our childhoods. The laughter, the holidays, the scraped knees. These memories often define us. But what happens when childhood isn't a wellspring of warmth and support? What if, instead, it's marked by dysfunction, leaving emotional needs unmet? While every family has its quirks, a dysfunctional home is characterized by persistent patterns of unhealthy behavior that disrupt healthy development. This can manifest in various ways, from open conflict and substance abuse to more subtle forms like emotional neglect and inconsistent parenting. The impact, however, is often profound and shapes our emotional landscape in ways we may not even realize. The empty well, emotional neglect and its consequences. One of the most insidious aspects of a dysfunctional home is emotional neglect. This isn't necessarily about a lack of physical care, but rather a consistent failure to recognize, validate, and respond to a child's emotional needs. Imagine a child constantly seeking a parent's attention, only to be met with indifference or dismissal. Over time, this child learns to suppress their emotions, believing they are irrelevant or even a burden. The consequences of emotional neglect can be far-reaching. Individuals who grow up in these environments often struggle with difficulty identifying and expressing emotions. They may have a limited emotional vocabulary and struggle to articulate their feelings. Low self-esteem, constant invalidation can lead to a deep-seated belief that they are unworthy of love and attention. Trouble forming healthy relationships. They may be drawn to unhealthy relationships that mirror their childhood experiences or struggle to trust others. People-pleasing tendencies. They may prioritize the needs of others in an attempt to earn the love and approval they craved as children. Anxiety and depression. The lack of emotional support and validation can contribute to increased anxiety and feelings of hopelessness. Beyond neglect, other forms of dysfunction. Emotional neglect is just one piece of the puzzle. Other common signs of a dysfunctional home include constant conflict and arguments. Witnessing constant fighting between parents can create a sense of insecurity and anxiety. Substance abuse. Substance abuse can create unpredictable and chaotic home environments, leaving children feeling unsafe and emotionally abandoned. Mental illness. Untreated mental illness in parents can lead to inconsistent parenting and a lack of emotional support. Controlling behavior. Overly controlling parents can stifle a child's autonomy and individuality, leading to feelings of resentment and low self-worth. Lack of boundaries. The absence of healthy boundaries can lead to enmeshment, where individual identities become blurred. Healing and moving forward. While the wounds inflicted by a dysfunctional childhood can run deep, healing is possible. It requires acknowledging the impact of these experiences and actively working to break unhealthy patterns. Here are some starting points. Acknowledge your pain. Allow yourself to feel the emotions you may have suppressed for years. Grief, anger, and sadness are all valid responses. Seek therapy. A therapist can provide a safe and supportive space to explore your childhood experiences and develop healthy coping mechanisms. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a friend. Recognize that you did the best you could with the resources you had. Set healthy boundaries. Learn to say no and prioritize your own needs. Build supportive relationships. Surround yourself with people who are emotionally supportive and validating. Growing up in a dysfunctional home can leave lasting scars. However, by acknowledging these wounds and actively working towards healing, it is possible to break free from the cycle of dysfunction and build a more fulfilling and emotionally healthy life. It's a journey of self-discovery, self-compassion, and ultimately, self-love. You deserve it. The compassionate mirror. When unmet needs drive caregiving. We've all been there, drawn to helping someone in need, offering a shoulder to cry on, or stepping in to ease the burden of a friend struggling through a tough time. Compassion and empathy are fundamental parts of being human. But sometimes, the impulse to care for others stems from a deeper, more personal place, the echo of our own unmet needs. For some, particularly those who experienced a lack of nurturing in their formative years, the desire to care for others, especially men who appear needy or vulnerable, can become a pattern. This isn't necessarily a conscious choice, but rather a subconscious attempt to heal a childhood wound through vicarious fulfillment. Imagine growing up feeling emotionally neglected, perhaps with parents who were unavailable, dismissive, or unable to provide the emotional support you craved. This can leave a deep void, a yearning for the nurturing and validation that was absent. As adults, these individuals may find themselves drawn to men who exhibit similar vulnerabilities, men who seem to need the care and attention they themselves longed for. The process is often subtle. These caregivers might gravitate towards men who are emotionally vulnerable. Men who are willing to share their struggles and insecurities can trigger a strong desire to comfort and support. Dependent or insecure. Individuals who lack confidence or appear to rely heavily on others for validation can evoke a protective instinct. Struggling or going through a difficult time. Offering help to someone facing adversity can feel like a way to right a past wrong or provide the support that was missing in their own lives. In these scenarios, the caregiving becomes a way to symbolically nurture the inner child. By providing the support and attention they needed to receive themselves, they hope to indirectly heal the pain of their past. The act of care becomes a compassionate mirror, reflecting back the nurturing they craved. However, this dynamic can be problematic. While genuine compassion is a beautiful quality, when driven by unmet needs, it can lead to codependency. The caretaker may become overly invested in the other person's well-being, neglecting their own needs and boundaries. Resentment. Over time, the caregiver may feel burdened or taken advantage of, especially if the recipient doesn't reciprocate the care or make efforts to improve. Unrealistic expectations. The caregiver might unconsciously expect the recipient to fix their own past wounds, leading to disappointment when this doesn't happen. Strained relationships. The imbalance of power and the underlying unmet needs can create an unhealthy dynamic, ultimately harming the relationship. So, what can be done? The first step is self-awareness. Recognizing the pattern and understanding the underlying motivations behind the caregiving impulse is crucial. Consider these questions. Are you consistently drawn to men who seem to need help? Do you find yourself sacrificing your own needs to care for others? Do you feel resentment or burnout in your caregiving relationships? Are you seeking validation or a sense of worth through your role as a caregiver? If you answer yes to these questions, it might be time to explore your own unmet needs through therapy or self-reflection. Learning to nurture yourself, set healthy boundaries, and develop a strong sense of self-worth is essential. Ultimately, true compassion comes from a place of wholeness and abundance. By addressing your own needs and healing past wounds, you can offer genuine support to others without sacrificing your own well-being. The goal isn't to stop caring, but to care from a place of strength and self-compassion, creating healthier and more fulfilling relationships. The echo of childhood. Why we're drawn to emotionally unavailable partners. We all carry echoes of our past, whispers that influence our present decisions, especially in the realm of romantic relationships. For some, these echoes can lead them down a familiar, albeit painful, path: the pursuit of emotionally unavailable partners. This pattern often stems from a deep-seated desire to rewrite a childhood narrative, a yearning to finally receive the love and validation they missed. Imagine a child growing up with a parent who, for whatever reason, was emotionally distant. Perhaps they were preoccupied with their own struggles, struggled to express affection, or simply weren't equipped to provide the emotional nourishment a child needs. The child, naturally, craves connection and understanding. They may try harder to please, to be good, hoping to finally elicit the desired warmth and love. But often, these efforts are met with the same emotional detachment. This experience can leave a profound imprint. As adults, these individuals might find themselves unconsciously drawn to partners who mirror the emotional unavailability of their parent. It's not a conscious decision, but rather a deeply ingrained pattern. The familiar dynamic, despite its inherent pain, feels almost comfortable. Why this attraction? It's often rooted in a desire to finally succeed where they previously failed. Having been unable to transform their parent into the loving caregiver they craved, they unconsciously seek out someone they believe they can fix through their love and devotion. The hope, however unrealistic, is that this time, the right amount of affection, understanding, and effort will unlock the hidden warmth within their partner. This dynamic can be incredibly challenging. The pursuer invests time, energy, and emotional resources in trying to break through the partner's emotional barriers. They may rationalize their partner's behavior, attributing it to stress, past trauma, or fear of intimacy. They might believe that with enough patience and understanding, they can heal their partner and finally receive the love they deserve. However, this pursuit often leads to frustration and heartbreak. Emotionally unavailable individuals, by definition, are unable to provide the consistent emotional connection and support needed for a healthy relationship. The more the pursuer tries to change them, the more resistant they may become, reinforcing the feeling of inadequacy and rejection. Breaking this cycle requires self-awareness and a willingness to confront the underlying childhood wounds. Recognizing the pattern for what it is, a reenactment of a past dynamic, is the first step. This involves acknowledging the unfulfilled needs of the inner child and understanding that trying to change another person is ultimately futile. Instead, the focus needs to shift inward. Healing can involve therapy, self-compassion, and learning to meet one's own emotional needs. This might mean setting healthy boundaries, learning to recognize and value one's own worth, and understanding that love should be freely given, not earned. Ultimately, breaking free from this pattern allows individuals to choose partners based on genuine connection, mutual respect, and authentic emotional availability. It's about recognizing that the love they sought in childhood is not something they can orchestrate in another adult relationship, but rather something they can cultivate within themselves. Only then can they truly experience the fulfilling and supportive relationship they deserve. The silent scream, when fear of abandonment dictates your relationship. The fear of being alone, the dread of facing life without a partner, the cold sweat that accompanies the thought of him walking away. For many, this isn't just a passing worry, but a crippling anxiety that shapes their every action within a relationship. It's the driving force behind a desperate attempt to hold on, to cling tight, to do anything to prevent abandonment. This fear, often rooted in past experiences of loss or neglect, can manifest in a variety of ways. It might look like people-pleasing to the extreme, saying yes even when you want to say no, suppressing your own needs and desires to cater to his, and constantly seeking his approval. Overly accommodating behavior, bending over backward to make him happy, sacrificing your own interests and hobbies to align with his, and tolerating behavior that makes you uncomfortable. Jealousy and insecurity, constantly checking his phone, questioning his whereabouts, and feeling threatened by other women in his life. Controlling tendencies, trying to manipulate situations or influence his decisions, often subtly, to ensure he stays with you. Hypervigilance, constantly analyzing his words, actions, and moods for signs that he's losing interest, interpreting neutrality as rejection. Staying in unhealthy relationships, accepting mistreatment, disrespect, or even abuse for fear of being alone. While a healthy relationship necessitates compromise and consideration, the fear of abandonment can push these qualities to unhealthy extremes. It can lead to a dynamic where one person becomes overly dependent, losing their sense of self and autonomy in the process. The irony is that these very behaviors, born out of desperation, can ultimately push a partner away. Why does this happen? The fear of abandonment stems from a deep-seated belief that you are not worthy of love and that you need to earn someone's affection. It creates a scarcity mindset, where you believe that this relationship is your last chance at happiness. This fear can be exacerbated by childhood trauma. Experiences like parental abandonment, neglect, or instability can create a lasting fear of being left behind. Past relationship wounds, rejection, betrayal, or painful breakups can reinforce the belief that you are destined to be abandoned. Low self-esteem. Having a negative self-image can make you feel less deserving of love and more vulnerable to being abandoned. Breaking free from the fear. The good news is that this cycle can be broken. It requires self-awareness, courage, and a willingness to confront the underlying issues that fuel the fear. Here are some steps you can take. Acknowledge your fear. The first step is recognizing that the fear of abandonment is driving your behavior. Be honest with yourself about the ways it's impacting your relationship. Explore the roots of your fear. Consider therapy or journaling to delve into the past experiences that might be contributing to your anxiety. Build your self-esteem. Focus on your strengths, celebrate your accomplishments, and practice self-compassion. Remember, you are worthy of love and happiness, regardless of your relationship status. Set healthy boundaries, learn to say no, prioritize your own needs, and communicate your boundaries clearly and assertively. Challenge negative thought patterns. When you catch yourself thinking catastrophically about abandonment, challenge those thoughts and replace them with more realistic and positive ones. Seek professional help. A therapist can provide a safe space to explore your fears, develop coping mechanisms, and build healthier relationship patterns. Overcoming the fear of abandonment is a journey, not a destination. It requires ongoing effort and self-reflection. By confronting your fears and building a stronger sense of self-worth, you can create healthier, more authentic relationships based on mutual respect and genuine connection, rather than desperation and fear. Remember, true love shouldn't feel like a constant battle to hold on, but a safe haven where you can be yourself, fearlessly. The perilous path of prioritizing him above all else. We've all seen it, perhaps even experienced it ourselves. The relationship dynamic where one person, often a woman, bends over backwards for their partner, sacrificing their own needs and desires in the process. It's a tempting trap, disguised as love and devotion, but it can quickly become a detrimental pattern that erodes self-worth and creates an unhealthy imbalance. This article explores the dangers of the almost nothing is too much trouble mentality, and why fostering a healthy relationship requires reciprocal effort and a strong sense of self. The initial impulse is often rooted in genuine affection. You want to make your partner happy, to ease their burdens, to be their rock. You believe that by pouring all your energy into supporting them, you're nurturing the relationship and proving your love. You might find yourself overcommitting to their needs, taking on extra tasks, running errands, and constantly rearranging your schedule to accommodate them. Ignoring your own well-being, sacrificing your hobbies, friendships, and personal goals in favor of their pursuits. Financially supporting them, going above and beyond to contribute financially, even if it strains your own resources. Making excuses for their behavior, justifying their shortcomings and shielding them from consequences. While acts of service are a valid expression of love, the key lies in balance. When the scales tip too far in one direction, the dynamic shifts from a partnership to a parent-child relationship, or even one of servitude. This unbalanced dynamic can lead to several negative consequences. Resentment. The constant giving without receiving can breed resentment and bitterness over time. You may feel unappreciated, used, and taken for granted. Loss of identity. When your life revolves solely around your partner's needs, you risk losing touch with your own passions, values, and identity. Enabling unhealthy behavior. Constantly smoothing the path for your partner can prevent them from taking responsibility for their actions and growing as an individual. Feeling trapped. The longer you perpetuate this dynamic, the harder it becomes to break free. You may fear disrupting the relationship or facing the consequences of demanding more. Depleted self-worth. Consistently prioritizing someone else's needs above your own can erode your self-esteem and make you question your own value. The alternative. Fostering a healthy, reciprocal relationship. A truly loving and supportive relationship is built on mutual respect, communication, and a willingness to compromise. Here are some steps you can take to break free from the too much trouble mentality and cultivate a healthier dynamic. Recognize your own needs. Prioritize your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Make time for your hobbies, friendships, and personal goals. Set boundaries. Learn to say no when you're feeling overwhelmed or taken advantage of. Clearly communicate your limits and expectations. Communicate openly. Talk to your partner about your feelings and needs. Express your concerns without blaming or criticizing. Encourage independence. Support your partner's personal growth and encourage them to take responsibility for their own actions. Seek reciprocity. A healthy relationship is a two-way street. Ensure that your partner is also willing to invest in your well-being and make sacrifices for you. Seek professional help. If you're struggling to break free from this dynamic, consider seeking guidance from a therapist or counselor. While generosity and support are vital components of a loving relationship, it's crucial to maintain a healthy balance and prioritize your own well-being. Remember, You are worthy of love, respect, and reciprocal effort. Don't let the desire to help someone else overshadow your own needs and prevent you from building a truly fulfilling and equitable partnership.
End of chapter 1.